I think this is a very distinctive exhibition because usually design exhibitions either show the best design, as a connoisseurship, the Satsas or Charles Eames or something important in the history of design. And when that's one thing that's typical, but that's not this. The other thing that goes on is that you ask designers, how did they know what to do? And you write down what the designer said on the wall, that I was inspired by the mountains of Bolzano, or I was inspired by the parking lot, or I was inspired by Picasso. But really, when you talk to designers, in my experience, they don't know where it came from. They really don't know. And when you interview them, you force them to say something meaningful. But it's really a forcing. And I think what is so good about this exhibition is that it doesn't force anyone to say why they design. Instead, it asks them to send something and talk about this other thing. And I think in doing that, it reveals how designers think. And that's what I find most interesting about the exhibition. It's a kind of inventory of designers' minds.
One example for an object or one designer example. And Wieki, you send us the Beijing?
Chinese stool from Beijing.
What is the title, Beijing? Yeah. And what is this project about?
Yeah, that's maybe I take it here that you can watch. So you can just take it. You know, designers like to speak about something. Well, this is a Chinese stool, and I was in the summer in Beijing, in China, and the project was identity. So we could spend 1 month being there and being inspired by Beijing, and we worked together with craftsmen. And finally, I just was walking 2 weeks through the hutongs, that are very small villages there, where a little bit the poor people are still living, because Beijing is growing, as I think everybody knows, like China's growing. But I was really fascinated in the stools. They were everywhere, and they were sitting on it. And you see that yesterday, I forgot the name, but somebody was speaking about that things are alive and can go dead, but this kind of stools go never dead, because if it's broken, they just put another piece of wood on it. And I think it's amazing that somebody is sitting on such a stool his whole life. So this stool tells a long history about somebody. And this is just an example, but we bought a lot of stools in the hutongs from the people finally. And when they saw that we are really interested in this kind of stool, they all came inviting us from come in our homes, and we want you to buy them. And finally, we thought we are going to cast them in aluminium to make a kind of ode or homage to the makers, because I think the makers are the designers and not me, and that's what I wanted to show here.
So can I just say that this is an example, I think, of a designer's mind, because I think other people would just go through the poor neighborhoods of Beijing and not see this. They would see the craft that they were selling, but they wouldn't see the thing that the people were using, and especially because this is, in a way, ugly and makeshift, put together ad hoc.
Yes, and I think it's really charming that these things, and that you see it's that they, yeah, I had some other examples, but they are in China because they are getting casted now. But you see a lot of textile, and they bent with ropes another pillow for the back because it was not functional enough, and they make it a bit higher by just connecting a few more legs under it. So I think I could use it as an inspiration to make my own designs, but I thought I can't make a better chair or stool than they do, so I just want to show a homage to them. But it's
no,
yeah.
sorry. But the Chinese people, were they wondering about that you collect them and entertain?
Well, at the beginning they thought, why? Because yeah, it's the same as we, yeah. And but finally, when they saw that that I was really fascinated, and I showed them the pictures of the collection we had, then they were really, open to it, and they invite us all, what I was saying, in their homes and and sell them. Yeah. Hidden stories in daily objects are very important. And that's also that that I was really interested to participate in this exhibition, because I think there's a kind of same approach here. So you know, there's so much things existing in this world, and so much throwaway consumer items. I think it's very important to see the hidden stories behind it and see the beauty of the things we forget because we are so used to it. And that's I really like your project in that way, because I think it's kind of same way of working and thinking.
Well, I write about design and designers, and this is just a whole new way to reveal how designers work. Like I said, I tried to talk to designers and learn how they work, and I find that difficult. I wonder how many people here are designers. Could we ask?
One.
One, two? Yeah. Okay, good. So, no, because it means that we all can learn things that we don't know. So this, I don't know if you've had time to look, but this one is great. And what you see is a designer who looks at this thing so closely and figures out that it was used for a plant because of the water stain, and that it used to be sitting in the shower in someone's bathroom because you can see that from the water stain. And I don't know if you saw, they mapped out graphically the history of the object as it has been through these experiences. And I point this out, it was interesting to me because it shows something that some designers do as a matter of routine, which is they take observations and they very systematically record the history of the product that they're going to design, the way it's used in the marketplace, how many were sold, of what sort. So not all designers do that, but some designers have this kind of systematic orientation. We have a dean of design here, but I've seen designers do this, although often they do not. So it's just another way to see how designers work, one variety of it. So I found that a different kind of thing, like you don't do this.
No, I don't do that.
Right.
But what we do both is research to the things around us and react on that, and look how social conditions work, and make new products as a reaction on that. I think that's and one designer does it different than the other one. It's the same in your job, I think. You write other things than another colleague.
Right. No, and see, I think this place is sort of a catalog of designers' method. And the great thing is that you didn't ask them for that. It's just what gets revealed. So on this piece, which is a chair that is very idiosyncratic in its manufacturing process. And then this is wonderful that you see the history of the research, of the correspondence between the designer and the factory, because the designer was trying to figure out how this chair came to be like it is, this kind of marble look of the thing. And that reveals something else that designers sometimes do, which is they engage in very close research to find out how a product already on the market was made that way. Because maybe now they want to try to duplicate that finish in something that they're doing, or for some other reason. So here you see the actual correspondence. And I was interested to see that the company actually responded, because I many times have written to corporations for information, and they don't respond. And they did in this case.
Okay. Thank you very much.